Is it possible that blindly following Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway could be hazardous to your wealth? Many people are excited that Berkshire Hathaway took a position in UnitedHealth, which popped that stock 10% just on the news. I hate to rain on your parade, but I want you to take a little bit of caution, and I have an example that you really need to know about. But before we go any further, I am not a financial professional. These are just my thoughts being shared for your entertainment. This is on dataroma.com, and you can find all the big fund managers, anyone that has over $100 million in assets under management. They have to file a Form 13F with the Securities and Exchange Commission here in the United States. Now, it doesn't show any options activity, any cash positions, any foreign holdings, so these are things that are just here in the United States. There's a lot of names that we know and love on here, but for this video, we're going to scroll down to the big Berkshire Hathaway, and it will show us the snapshot date when this information was taken. Now, it comes out on August 14th, and this is from June 30th, so there's about 45 days of potentially stale information, and you always want to be careful because on July 1st, the companies could have changed up exactly what they're doing. That's going to be in the deadline that they have to file on the 14th. So you always want to be careful. We'll get more into that. But what Berkshire did, we'll click on activity. And again, this is on dataroma.com. It is free and fantabulous. With the buys, you will see they added 265% to Lennar Corp, ticker LEN, Pool Corp, ticker POOL, Lennar Class B shares. Now, the difference is that they usually carry voting rights, is the difference between B shares and A shares. New Corp, ticker NUE. They're hitting the swimming pools and the booze. Constellation Brands, they added STZ. Heiko Corp, Class A shares, ticker HEI-A. Little bit of Chevron, ticker CVX. Right, little. 3.5 million shares they added. Domino's Pizza they added, ticker DPZ. And 3 new positions. UnitedHealth, 5,039,000 shares. Lamar Advertising, ticker LAMR. When you're driving around and you see the big billboards, look at the bottom of them. A lot of them have that Lamar tag. And then they also initiated a position into a company that I know well. They own door lock brands like you may have in your house, Schlage, Von Duprin. This is Allegion, ticker ALLE. And this is a company that was on my watch list some time ago. So I'm going to do another little bit of a deep dive into Allegion. And then we have their cells in reverse order. They little itty bitty reduced DR Horton, ticker DHI. DaVita Healthcare Partners, ticker DVA. Bank of America, they've had that one for a while, ticker BAC. Trimming more Apple, right? Just a little trim. 20 million shares, which reduced their holdings 6.67%. You love Formula One? There you go. FWONK, ticker FWONK, Liberty Media Corp, Formula One Series C. They reduced Charter Communications, ticker CHTR, by almost 50%, and completely sold out of T-Mobile, ticker TMUS. And if you did want to see their holdings, just go back to holdings, and they have the whole shebang sorted by percent of portfolio, which Apple is still at the top. We won't go through them all. Knock yourself out if you wanted to. If you got any Braves fans out there, I think this was spin-off shares that they received of ticker BATRK, the Atlanta Braves holdings. Shout out if you own any of those or you're a Braves fan. There you go. Now, the thing that kind of irks me is I saw this Reuters article, and it just says that Warren Buffett bets on UNH. And the reason that it irks me is because we don't know exactly who bought it. It could have been Warren. It could have been Greg Abel. It could have been one of Warren's lieutenants for the last decade or so, Todd Combs or Ted Wexler. They can autonomously and have bought and sold stock without Warren approving it, or sometimes, as he's said, even being aware of it. And I know everybody's all excited, but honestly, 1.6 billion is couch cushion to Berkshire when they have a cash hoard of roughly $344 billion and a market cap of $1 trillion. And remember, the equity portfolio, the stock portfolio, is just one component of the big, massive conglomerate that Berkshire is, because they own a lot of businesses that you can only get access to by owning Berkshire, like Dairy Queen and Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. Now again, 13Fs are great for idea generations, but I think they're a little bit of stale Dale information because they're a snapshot of what the company owned about 45 days before the filing, and they drop the second week of every May, August, November, and February. And by the time you read about it, the fund could have blown out of that position completely, and you won't find out about it until the next 13F filing. So it's important to remember that yes, whether it's Warren Buffett or a 19-year-old penny stock trader, everybody will buy for the same reason. They expect the price to go up and you're going to get more money out of it than you put into it. But you don't know their timeline, you don't know the reasons for buying, and you don't know the exit strategy. So it's that saying that says, you can't borrow conviction. It's really hard. I know, I've tried. So you always have to do your own due diligence, develop your own thesis for buying something, and your own conviction for buying and holding that. Oh my God, my lights are going. I thought there was lightning in here. So don't borrow conviction. Get your own conviction. So here's the lesson that I want to share with you about conviction. Check this out. In Q2 2024, Berkshire bought Ulta Beauty, ticker ULTA, about 690,000 shares. The stock popped on the news just like UnitedHealth did. And then in Q4 2024, Berkshire completely exited and they held for only about 2 quarters. Now look at this. If you followed Berkshire and you bought when that August 2024 13F filing hit on August 14th, and you got out when you read the Q4 24 13F filing on February 14th, Valentine's Day 2025, you would have underperformed the S&P 500 or VOO by about 2%, but you still would have made almost 11% on your money. But check this out. If you didn't follow them out and you just held, Ulta is up almost 60% from that initial Q224 position that Berkshire took, and they sold way too early, but copycats wouldn't know that, would they? But if you do want to follow Berkshire blindly, that's cool too. Check this out. Quote, I find it uncomfortable when friends or acquaintances mention that they are buying X because it has been reported incorrectly that Berkshire is a buyer. However, I do not set them straight. If they want to participate in whatever Berkshire actually is buying, they can always purchase Berkshire stock. But perhaps that is too simple. Usually, I suspect they find it more exciting to buy what is being talked about. Whether that strategy is more profitable is another question. So you can blindly follow Warren, just buy Berkshire, and you don't have to worry about it. You'll automatically be holding everything that they buy and sell. And again, we don't know exactly who's doing the buying and selling, and times are changing. Warren is on his way out as CEO, so it's going to be the Greg Abel show, and he was pretty much handpicked by Warren Buffett. But the thing I want you to remember is that 13Fs are fantastic for idea generation, like I'm going to be doing with Allegion, but not so much for copying their trades. One example for me is I hold Fundsmith's Terry Smith in high regard, and I saw recently that he was buying Zoetis, ticker ZTS, and it was after I had already found it, but when I saw that, it was a really nice vote of confidence. But I did not buy Zoetis just because Terry Smith bought it. It was kind of a thing like, well, I hope that great minds are thinking alike here. But if Terry Smith sells Zoetis completely and I'm still holding it, I'm going to keep holding it unless my reason for buying it, my thesis has changed. And I just think that buying on your own conviction and selling on your own conviction is going to be a good decision over time. You're going to learn for it. And like Annie Duke wrote in Thinking in Bets, and I'll sum it up, is that good decisions don't always lead to good outcomes, because you could get drunk and drive home and make it home safe. That was a bad decision with a good outcome. But you could drink too much, take an Uber, and still get into an accident and get hurt. That was a good decision with a bad outcome. So we want to keep trying to compound those good decisions, and they won't always have good outcomes. And for me, in the past, I've been burned too many times by falling knives, by companies that are in turnaround mode. Hello, Intel, Nike, Starbucks, Jury's still out on Starbucks and Nike, but it's happened to me in the past. I'm attracted to these fallen angels like a UnitedHealth, but I think the company just has really serious headwinds. For me, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. Governmental regulations, governmental investigations, changes in the C-suite, earnings guidance cuts, they got everything going on. And I want you to know, if they are found guilty of Medicare or Medicaid fraud, they could be barred from that system for 5 years, and it's a significant part of their revenue. So it could be years for them to turn around, and the 10% pop on the Berkshire news, I think, is just noise. And just remember that the fundamentals of the company have not changed. All it's done is gotten a vote of confidence right now from Berkshire Hathaway. So if you do own UnitedHealth, congratulations. Shares are still down almost 50%, so you got a long ways to go. But I'd love to hear if you're still holding it, or if you're buying it because Berkshire bought. So don't be Warren's shadow. Just get ideas from his shadow. Do your own research, build your own conviction, and if you do want to just blindly follow Warren, which is okay, buy Berkshire, ticker BRKA if you can afford it, or BRK.B. And speaking of bad ideas with okay outcomes so far, I did my own research, built my own conviction on something that I think is tied to Warren Buffett that he wouldn't support. It's OMAH. It's a high yield ETF, 15% annual yield targeted for Berkshire. So in this floating little box next to my head, I'm going to share all my thoughts about it. And this one got a little spicy in the comments. So if you want to hear what I said, check that video out and I will tell you all about it there.